Authority meeting to order. Would you call the roll, please?
Yes. Commissioner Beckles?
Present.
Commissioner Broadwater?
Here.
Commissioner Jones? Commissioner Wynn?
Here.
Commissioner O'Connor?
Here.
Vice Chair Fawn?
Here.
And Chair Beard.
Okay, at this point, we're at oral communications. The agenda, any oral communications related to just the Housing Authority?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Josh McIntosh. I'm a resident of Garden Grove of many years, and I have a question for the Housing Authority regarding the 3 Grove Street addresses, which are also known as the west parking lot for Garden Grove Main Street. I'd like to know what you have in mind for these properties in the future, where they stand. I understand that the proposed condo development was nixed temporarily. And I'd just like to understand where I could get any documentation of your vision for this property as soon as possible, and that be made public information. Thank you.
Okay, can we get back to the speaker on that question? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any other oral communications related to the Housing Authority? Seeing none, we move to the second item, which is consent item, Housing Authority status report for January 2014. Is there a report? Is it to receive and file?
Just receive and file,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call for the vote.
Motion received 6 yes votes with Commissioner Jones absent.
Okay. Item number 3, there are no public hearings tonight. And item number 4, items for consideration.
Mr. Chair, you have this year's subrecipient agreement for administrative of our grant funding, and Allison Mills is here to give a staff report on this item.
Good evening, Commissioners. The item you have before you is the approval of a subrecipient agreement between the City and Housing Authority for the administration of a tenant-based rental assistant program, also known as TBRA. On June 25, 2013, Council approved a substantial amendment to our action plan, which allocated funding to create and administer a TBRA program. The TBRA program will provide assistance to qualified very low and extremely low income residents, and will replace federal Section 8 funds that the Housing Authority is losing because of federal budget cuts. TBRA and Section 8 funding are interchangeable and will allow the Housing Authority to continue to assist their current role of qualified low-income renters and, if possible, to assist applicants on the waiting list. Tonight, the City Council and Housing Authority are asked to approve the subrecipient agreement between the City and Authority for the administration of a tenant-based rental assistant program and authorize the City Manager and Director to execute the agreement and to make modern modifications as appropriate. This concludes my staff report, and I'm available to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions? Comments? Entertain a motion?
Move the item.
I'll second that.
Okay, call for the vote.
Motion received 7 yes votes.
Okay, any matters from the Commissioners? Seeing none, move to adjournment.
He's a little bit off his rocker, Steve.
At this time, we'll open up the Garden Grove City Council meeting. Mr. Kingsley will have the invocation for us, and Dina will have us with the flag, lead us with the flag salute.
Okay, please prepare yourself according to your faith. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussions. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that affect the residents of our great Garden Grove city. Amen.
Amen.
Please face our flag and say the pledge with me. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mayor, you should ask to call the roll.
With Dr. Clark, please call a roll.
Councilmember Beard?
Here.
Councilmember Jones? Here. Councilmember Fawn?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Wynn?
Here.
And Mayor Broadwater.
Here. It's my understanding, Mr. Patel, that we have a presentation this evening.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, and I'd like Mr. Okereke to make the presentation this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. Yes, we do have recognition this evening. The Garden Grove City Council is pleased to present tonight's business spotlight, highlighting the accomplishments of local business professionals. This evening's recognition goes to one of the leading businesses in the community, celebrating a milestone 35 years in the city of Garden Grove. Would Richard and Gloria Navarro from RJ Cabinets and Woodwork please come forward? Richard's earlier woodworking memories are helping his father table saw his hobby projects. Little did Richard know that those experiences would begin a lifelong passion. Richard started in the business really young. While still in his teens, Richard was building wood projects like speaker boxes that he would turn for a profit. Realizing the value of being certified as a contractor, he enrolled in Garden Grove's local Carpenters Union apprenticeship. This laid the groundwork for what would later become a long and successful career in the cabinetry industry. Richard soon started R&J Cabinets and Woodwork out of his garage in Garden Grove as a way to provide for his family with Gloria, his wife of 40 years. From inception, the business has been a husband and wife team that continues to this day. The couple started out small, but had aspirations for something much bigger. Customers recognized Richard's eye for detail and skilled craftsmanship, and word soon spread that R&J Cabinets and Woodwork was a cabinet shop you could trust. They soon outgrew the garage and leased their first cabinet shop in Garden Grove. They are currently located at 11685 Cardinal Circle between Trask Avenue and Harbor Boulevard. For 35 years, R&J Cabinets and Woodwork has been dedicated to creating custom cabinets for homes throughout Southern California. Their experience and expertise have made them an industry leader and a business success in the city of Garden Grove. At this time, the mayor and city council would like to present Richard and Gloria with a congratulatory gift for their meritorious recognition. The city of Garden Grove looks forward to many more future achievements from R&J Cabinets and Woodwork. Congratulations.
Would you like to say a few words?
What?
We're going to take pictures first.
Okay, you're out.
She's hiding again.
Thank you very much for honoring us.
Yeah, please go on up to the.
Thank you very much for honoring our company that we've been in business for quite a while. And it's quite an honor. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for being a good citizen. At this time, we'll go to oral communications, and we will hold simultaneously the Sanitary District and the, I guess that's it. Oh, no, the Success, let me get it right. Successor Agency, yes. Okay, we'll call Patty Whitcomb first, please.
Good evening. My name is Patty Whitcomb, and I'm McDonald's owner-operator here in Garden Grove. I also am a resident of Garden Grove, so thank you for allowing me to address you, Mayor, Council, and staff. I have three matters I wanted to just bring before you this evening, and the first one is something that it's kind of come to my attention that it seems to be a growing issue in the city, and that is the donation boxes in the city. So I'm asking your help on this. And I'm sure you've all noticed the proliferation of clothing and shoe collection boxes across the city, and we're all familiar with the good works of lots of agencies like Goodwill and Planet Aid and Salvation Army. So I'm referring to these blue donation boxes labeled simply clothing and shoes. So as you look into it, you find that most of these are actually for profit. They're placed without the permission of the property owners. And those that are even minimally going to charity, it's less than 10%, many of which are located out of state. So in my opinion, it is something that we don't need in the city of Garden Grove. If you look, as you drive through many of the parking lots, they're poorly maintained. It's an unbelievable, unsightly mess, especially when it rains, because we find people leaving couches and chairs and mattresses and everything else at those locations. Also, they tend to be positioned where, as you exit driveways, sometimes it's hard to see around them. So I'm asking your help, and maybe this would come from code enforcement, I don't know. But every property owner I've spoken to said I did not give them permission to put the donation box there. So if you could please help me, and I don't know how we go about doing this, but it's something that's kind of, I think, really unsightly in the city. The second matter is I need your help on is e-cigarettes in the city of Garden Grove. And I know you're all aware that as AB 13 prohibits cigarette smoking in restaurants since January of '98, also state law prohibits the sale of regular cigarettes and e-cigarettes to anyone under the age of 18. But it's up to each city to pass an ordinance when it comes to where people can smoke cigarettes, e-cigarettes. Currently, there are 40 cities in California that ban the use of e-cigarettes in parks, beaches, schools, and restaurants. So I'm asking your help on this issue also. Something needs to be done, some kind of an ordinance passed. Are e-cigarettes going to be considered in the city of Garden Grove cigarettes or something else? So we become very popular as a city to sell e-cigarettes. There was an article in the Orange County Register, October 24th, said that within a 5-block radius of Brookhurst and the 22 freeway, there are 7 shops selling e-cigarettes as their specialty item. So I'm really not here to debate the merits of e-cigarettes or their benefits. Some people think they can be used to stop smoking, but we do need, as a city, some direction. As I talk to other business owners, we're all asking for help. We can't go up to a customer in our lobby. I've had one physician come to me saying people are even smoking e-cigarettes in his waiting room. We can't do anything to stop someone smoking e-cigarettes in a place of business because the city of Garden Grove has no ordinance against it. So I'm asking you to please take a stand one way or the other for the comfort of our customers so that we can enforce or not enforce e-cigarettes. And then the third and final issue, and I think some of you know this is coming, is road construction in Garden Grove. So I ask that as we move forward with road construction, that we give more consideration to business owners and residents during construction. The construction project on Chapman and Valley View has actually been extremely detrimental to my McDonald's at that location. Since we started, I've been down between 25 and 40% in sales. It's just simply devastated my business. There are many steps I think the city could have taken in advance to mitigate the effects of the road construction on local businesses. And the city has tried to work with me on this issue. It's not getting any better. I'd be happy as we move forward to other construction projects to make specific recommendations on how I think it could be done smoother and less detrimental to businesses and residents. But the top priority would certainly be to finish the projects more quickly. This 9-month project could have been completed far faster if the construction crew worked more than 35 hours a week. You know, when it comes to taking Saturdays and Sundays off, multiple 3-day weekends, 2 weeks off at Christmas, the project is simply moving too slow, and the impact on the business is just devastating. I know it's kind of easy for the city to say, we're doing all we can. This was the agreement with Sully Miller that we only work Monday through Friday, certain set hours, but it's just devastating to the businesses in that area. So I'm trying to be here as a good citizen and a business owner. I'm providing lots of jobs, paying property taxes and sales taxes, but I need your help. So this project is still slated to be done in about 3 months, but as we move forward to other projects, if we could try to work together better. So those are my 3 issues tonight. The donation boxes, can you help me with that? Can you take a stand on e-cigarettes? And then future consideration for businesses as we do more road construction. Because I truly believe together we can make Garden Grove even a better city. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda Warcher, Lauren, I can't get your last name.
I'll be introducing her in a minute anyway. Hello, my name is Linda Wachner, and I am the event chair for the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life. We had our first year last year at Garden Grove High School, and many of the council members and mayor participated. So first of all, I'd like to thank all of you for coming out and giving us your time and efforts. Councilman Fawn, and thanks in forming a team, and hopefully we can get you back out next year. And Councilman Jones and Beard for coming out, and Jones for even getting in our dunk tank last year. So thank you all very much for your participation. We are coming back again this year. We are having a kickoff party March 4th at Mimi's Cafe, and you have flyers there. And that's to get our relay season started. We're hoping to have a fun-filled evening of appetizers, cancer survivor speakers, and raffles and other ideas and ways to get the kickoff season for 2014 started. Our relay is July 12th and 13th this year. I would like to introduce you to Lauren Ueno. She is our relay specialist with the American Cancer Society, and she's going to talk to you just a little bit about Relay for Life in general. So.
Okay, so those of you who aren't unfamiliar with Relay for Life, it's a 24-hour celebration for cancer survivors and those who have lost their battle to cancer. So basically what we are going to be doing at Relay for Life, it's going to be at Garden Grove High School again on July 12th and 13th from 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's a full 24-hour event. And we encourage teams to sign up and show up on the track, and we'll have special laps, theme laps, and it's a lot of fun. We'll have music and games and raffle, food, lots of entertainment. And I would like to invite the Garden Grove City and also the council to join us once again this year. If you have any questions, my information is on the flyer. And on behalf of American Cancer Society, I would like to thank you guys so much for all the support that you guys have had in the past year. And I'm looking forward to working with you all this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
John O'Neill.
Raise it up a little bit. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council, staff, fellow residents. As you guys know, I'm a lifelong resident here in Garden Grove, and I come here tonight mostly as my day job. I represent over 2,000 electrical workers in the county of Orange, and I'm starting here in Garden Grove, but I'm going to every city, and we're just making the municipalities aware of state certification for electricians. Just like a person that cuts your hair needs a license to cut your hair, you need a license to be an electrician, even if you're working for a contractor. And the reason I bring that up is on your item 2C there, on your agenda item 2C, and this isn't a large issue, but I noticed you may be awarding a contract tonight to Edgar Gonzalez of Superior Construction. And in just looking up his license, I noticed he doesn't carry workman's compensation insurance. Now, I'm sure that would be required to the city to have that, but he hasn't had it since he started in 2006. He's got 3 classifications of contractor's license, and he doesn't have workman's comp insurance. So that tells me that he's 1099ing, or maybe he's subbing the work out, which you could do. Now, the city has particular rules about subbing work out that you would need permission to be able to sub that work out. So I'm just bringing it to your attention. The reason I did that is because Anaheim recently, a lot of people aren't aware that at the Honda Center there was recently an addition to the building, and they added a restaurant and a gift shop. And there was an electrician, well, he wasn't even certified electrician, was killed, 30 years old, and he was electrocuted. And the contractor was the sole proprietor, and this person isn't certified as an electrician. And he got killed. And now the city has a big situation on their hands with OSHA and lawsuits. So I don't want that to happen here or any other city, and I sure don't want to see anybody perish. I belong to a group of electricians that's been around for 123 years, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. And we're all about, I don't care if you're union or non-union, it's about the safe installation of electrical work. It's very dangerous. It can kill you in an instant. So that's the main reason I'm here. I just wanted to make you guys aware of, if you can screen your contractors. I know the staff does a great job, and I'm not trying to come down on the staff, but we need to look into insurance. We need to look into compliance with state licenses. There's a lot of different trades that have different requirements. And we have a lot of projects coming up, hotels and street work, and it's really not fair to a lot of the contractors that are abiding by all the rules. And then a lot of these contractors kind of slide under the radar and use unlicensed or certified people. And I'm not trying to knock contractors either, because I'm a contractor myself. So that's pretty much it. Just wanted to make you aware of it. And I'm going to be going around through the county, making all the municipalities aware of state certification for electricians. So if you guys have any questions, there's some information that I gave you there, and you guys can contact me anytime. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Gregory Nito.
City Council, Mr. Mayor. My name is Gregory Nieto. I live at 13142 Galloway Street in Garden Grove. I've been here 60 years in this city. And I want to tell you a little bit something about a little bit of history here. And from the Santa Ana River to the San Gabriel River, this land used to belong to Nietos. But that's history. It happened many, many years ago. And I was raised here in Long Beach. I was born in Long Beach, and I was raised in the 30s. And I came here to Orange County with my father, and we picked oranges and we picked walnuts. And if you know how walnuts are, your hands get purple. And I went to school in Long Beach. I was fortunate to go in Long Beach. I didn't go to school in Orange County in the 30s. I went in Long Beach, and I had some wonderful teachers there, and they taught me many, many things. And they were very supportive of me at that particular time. Now, the reason I'm sorry. I have a couple of notes here I'm going over. Mr. Mayor, at one time you got up, a couple of times I saw you, where you mentioned that there's 3 ethnic groups here in the city of Garden Grove: Latinos, Asians, and Anglo-Saxon. Now, the last time that they had an appointment here to the city council, there was a well-qualified Latino that could have been appointed to Chris Moore's seat. He didn't get that nomination. He gave it to Chris Bird. He's a very good councilman, and I have nothing against that, but I wish you would have considered a Latino at that particular time, because for some reason or other, we don't have the, you might say, get up and go, to get our people together, to get a qualified individual on the city council. We might have one. I saw the meeting, I did see somebody that says he might run, and I hope he does. I really sincerely hope that he does, and he does get a council seat. But the main reason that I'm here talking here tonight, I'm angry, I'm sad. There was about 14 people that came up to this dais right here to talk. And there was one group here, they were LULACs. I have nothing to do with the LULAC people. I would like to belong to that group, but I never have. I've been too busy with my business and working to raise my family. Well, that was the only group of people that they were told that they only have 5 minutes. I was totally offended by that. I was totally offended by that. All these other people, you didn't say a thing about them that they only had 5 minutes. But the Latino, you told them they only had 5 minutes. I was really offended. I watch your council meetings on television. I don't come here very often. I think I've been here twice. But I think that the city council owes the LULACs an apology. I would really like to see that coming from this city council. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much for letting me talk to you.
Well, let me answer your question. Danny, who is the president of LULAC here, filled out one card, and all of a sudden he had 6 people.
Yes.
So when I told him he only had 5 minutes, I meant only 5 minutes for himself.
Okay.
Danny's been here a long time. He sat on a commission. LULAC actually holds their meetings in a government building here, and we're very, very involved with them. And I think that you need to talk to the LULAC people themselves and get the big picture, because although I may have made a mistake in saying just 5 minutes, I only meant it for Danny.
Okay.
And that's 5 minutes for everybody. And he only had one card, and all of a sudden there's 6 people there.
I understand that, and I do accept that as the reason why he did do that. But I just wanted to mention that I was offended by it, even though I did see it just on television. I do watch the council meetings faithfully on television. I don't come down here, but I do get involved over the television.
Okay, well, thank you for coming out.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Zeke Hernandez.
Mr. Mayor, my name's Zeke Hernandez. I'm president of Santa Ana LULAC, your neighbors. But I wasn't here at that meeting that it was noted here.
You've only got 5 minutes.
I'm president of Santa Ana LULAC. 5 minutes, all right. I'll stick within that. I'm here as president of Santa Ana LULAC and also a vice chairman of the Orange County Veterans Memorial Park Committee. I've sent members of the council, and I believe I need to send to 2 more. I've sent to the mayor and vice mayor and Councilmember Fan. And it's a letter requesting your assistance, support for a bill being authored by Assemblywoman Sharon Quirk Silva. And that's AB 1453, which would authorize a cemetery in Orange County for veterans. I'm providing you a copy of the letter, and basically what we're asking is if you were to look at the and I have provided to you via email the actual language of the bill, a fact sheet on it, as well as a sample resolution. Basically what we've done here in Orange County, we do not have a cemetery for veterans. If you are a veteran and wish to be interred in a national veteran cemetery, you would have to go to Riverside or Mira Loma. LA is full at this time. And the state legislature has allowed for a number of past years for a California state veteran cemetery. There is one in Shasta County and another one being built in Monterey. The third would be here in Orange County if everything goes good with it. You know the number of veterans here in Orange County. In fact, I came by on that day when you hosted the moving wall here, and so AB 1453 was submitted into the Veterans Affairs Committee. It goes to the appropriations, and we're looking at a date of about May 1st in terms of having that to have been passed by the Veterans Affairs Committee and then on to the other appropriations committee and then on, if approved at the assembly level, on to the Senate for approval and then signature by the governor. And I have that for you. I have a letter for you, and you have some information via email, and I would provide that to the city manager on once I get his email, okay? And I can provide you a hard copies of that if you wish, okay? So that's what, I fully understand this is not an agenda item. You can't take action on it, but also I don't know what the protocol is for individual city council members to also send their letter of support if they wish so. But at some time in the future, hopefully you would take action as a full city council for support on this. Thank you very much.
Do you have a location for the cemetery?
We are, you all have heard about the Great Park. We are looking at some acreage, about approximately 125 in the Great Park area, and have met with several city council members and look at March 11th at making more of a formal petition in terms of their assistance. That's the Great Park, 125 acres, but we know if it doesn't happen there, Orange County is large, although open land is not as much as we would like it to be. So we will be looking at some options if that doesn't pan out.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much. Mm-hmm.
Fred Fruin.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. My name is Fred Free, longtime resident here at Garden Grove, and I'm here because of Valley View. Our first speaker spoke quite eloquently about the problems there. It is ridiculous what's going on over there. The length of time that it's taken to get that project done, I'm sure you've heard it 100 times already by phone calls, letters, or whatever, but it is crazy. And I just want to take just a minute of your time tonight. This morning, for example, from Cerulean down to Lamson took 30 minutes. They closed down to one lane. The work was being done down closer to Chapman. And it was just ridiculous what's going on there. The lack of traffic control that we have there is crazy. I mean, it's just gotten out of hand. At Cerulean today, as we sat there in the intersection, a school bus full of kids is blocking the entire lane. The school bus driver, I wish I would have gotten the number, should have known better rather than to block off the traffic. But that whole area there, it's just insane. I can't emphasize it enough of what's going on over there. The lack of work that's getting done on a timely basis. I hope in the future when you guys consider this, and I'm not sure if it's all city council, if it's traffic, however it works, but maybe set a deadline. Maybe even put out bonuses for getting it done early. But right now what's going on over there is just, it's unacceptable. The delays have been there forever. I know the fire department has trouble when they're responding to emergencies coming out there right in front of the senior living area there. It's backed up on a continual basis. And I think maybe if we had some traffic officers there, whether it's officers, cadets, whatever, to maybe assist in expediting the movement of that traffic, it would help out a lot. But what's going on there, and I've beaten a dead horse, it's ridiculous. I'm trying to use the proper words so I don't get thrown out of here. But it's like, I mean, something's really got to be done. I know we've got another 3 months because that's what was put on the sign. Everybody knows it's there, but it's not getting any better. The other thing that is really out of hand is on Lamson, for example. To go east, if you're coming down from the Seal Beach area there, they closed it down to 2 lanes right there by the bank. And at that area, there's no reason to close down the center lane. You could have had more traffic going through and expediting it there. And if we could have somebody come out there and really take a look at what's going on now, because as we're getting closer to the freeway, we're getting more and more traffic coming down there, and the tie-ups are crazy. I know the businesses are hurting to go in and out of where Vaughn's is there on Chapman and that. It's unacceptable, and we need some help either from the police department or for the traffic routing or whatever. We've got to do something there, and maybe even look at the lights. Some of those lights are pretty long. We all deal with construction. Southern California, it's got to happen. And it's got to happen, but it doesn't have to happen at peak hours. Today's, when this happened, it was right there at 8:20 to 8:45, that whole time period. That's heavy traffic going through there. And if we could get some assistance there, it would be greatly appreciated. I know the residents in that area. I live right down the street from there, and it's just out of hand. And we would really like some assistance if we could get it. So again, I support everything that you said, and please give us some helping hand out there. So I appreciate your time, and thank you.
Thank you. Peter Katz.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council, staff, and residents. Once again, I'm here to speak on a veteran issue. Normally, I'm here on behalf of the Vietnam War Museum of America Foundation. But tonight, I want to back up Zeke Hernandez on the Veterans Cemetery at the Great Park. This was a bunch of us veterans that created this committee about 6 months ago to push this through, and we had no idea at the time that it would move at such breakneck speed. With Assembly Bill 1453 introduced by Sharon Quirk Silva, a Democrat of Fullerton, this is a bipartisan bill. It will move very swiftly once the city of Irvine decides whether they are going to accept the cemetery at the Great Park. So there's a definition of a soldier that says that, you know, there are no true heroes. The only true hero is the one that survives. You shoot your enemy so that he dies for his country. So us veterans, believe it or not, Orange County is the largest county in the state of California without a veteran cemetery. So this is a bill that will have a lot of support, and what we're doing here is just beginning the circuit. We hope to have a resolution from all 34 cities in the county, along with the Board of Supervisors, endorsing this bill so that we could get it to the governor's desk before the end of the legislature. I'll be traveling with Zeke and some of my friends up to Sacramento in April to testify before the Veterans Affairs Committee in support of this bill, and we're looking forward to getting this done this year. So like I've always said, old soldiers never fade away. We just keep on moving and getting things done. And so there's a lot of veterans issues and that need to be taken care of right here in Orange County. So we're really excited about this, and we'll be going to the March 11th Irvine City Council meeting, testifying there on behalf of this bill. So once again, urging your support. And the citizens, what we want is people you can write to the Veterans Affairs Committee in Sacramento, just a short note saying you endorse this bill 1453, that you think it's a great idea. Where I think handwritten letters are more important, especially if you can get a fellow soldier to write a letter. Just take 5 minutes, put a stamp on it, and mail it to the attention of the Veterans Affairs Committee, Sacramento, California. It'll get there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Charles Mitchell.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, and staff. Many of us have been critical of the council because of what's been happening on Main Street. However, I wish to express my appreciation for the fact that you have voted to postpone the taking of the parking lot on the west side of Main Street. Now, another issue on Main Street is the bollards. Those are those 3-foot-high concrete and marble pillars that are on Main Street. Many of them have been hit by cars. They are broken, twisted, bent, destroyed. But fortunately, the City of Garden Grove Public Works Department has procured the means of manufacturing new bollards for Main Street. Now, these are very nice looking. They are going to be a nice addition to Main Street. And one of the things that's going to be on them at the very top is going to be an 8-inch square tile on each side facing Main Street and facing the business behind it. And there is a logo contest that has been going on. And this Thursday, as chairman of the Main Street Commission, it will be my honor to have the members vote on which of the designs are going to be accepted as the winner of that logo contest. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to be something that will really look nice on Main Street, and we appreciate the city doing this to liven up and beautify Main Street. Now, on a sadder note, just recently we lost another dear veteran. Now, his name was Walter Ehlers. Many of you remember him as a guest speaker at our police memorial. Walter Ehlers landed on the beach at Normandy in 1944 on June 6th, fought his way ashore, and through his actions was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. We're losing too many of our veterans today. That's why I fully support the idea of this Veterans Cemetery in Irvine, because we need an honorable resting place for all of these people that have gone ahead and done what they needed to do to protect the freedom of all of us. So, if you would, Mr. Mayor, I'd like you to close the meeting this evening in honor of Walter Ehlers.
Can you spell his last name, please?
Ehlers. Thank you.
Josh McIntosh.
Good evening again. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. First off, I'd like to thank all the other speakers that came here tonight that participated in our local politics. They got off their couches, they turned off their so-called reality TV shows, and they tried to make our city a better place. Thank you, all you speakers here tonight. I have a small concern on agenda item 2B. This is what are we calling this? This is the future of property management, long-range property management plan. What I'm concerned with is in the very last sentence of this, where it says that proceeds from the sale of the Brookhurst Triangle will now be retained by the Successor Agency for the payment of future enforceable obligations. And I'm just not sure what the future enforceable obligations are. I understand that we have existing obligations. What's next? Can we see what's next?
Check with Governor Brown.
Okay, but I mean, I wanted to know what we foresee as a future obligation. Are there other plots of land that we don't know about? They're not on the ROPS, they're not listed somewhere where we can see them?
The state of California did away with the redevelopment agency.
Right,
That
right, but
property
we
was-
give it a new name. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, forget it. You don't want the answer.
Okay, it's now a successor agency. We've given it a new name.
It is not a redevelopment agency.
Okay.
And the state of California is taking money on all redevelopment properties. So we have no idea what's going to be the price tag of that the state of California is going to put on it.
Okay. So it's just the wording, you know. Maybe I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a property manager. I don't know.
I thought you were a golfer coming in here looking like that.
So anyways, that was a concern, and I'm just, I just like to be clear as a bell what we're doing, understanding the future of our enforceable obligations. So I'm not sure about one of our possible enforceable obligations. I read somewhere that the nightclub at Harbor and Chapman next to the Hyatt, formerly known as Peppers, back when I used to go and do the Running Man there, now I believe it's called Fandango, or maybe it's called Closed. I don't even know if it's in business anymore.
Try closed.
Okay, it's closed. I heard a rumor that that is now being deemed as blighted and to be, for use of an old-fashioned word, redeveloped. If there's, I'd like to know.
We don't redevelop anymore.
Okay. What is it called when we take a building and use it for more money-gaining purposes?
Money-gaining purpose.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so that is not currently deemed as a blighted property that we're looking at taking over?
I didn't say that
Because
either.
okay, you didn't say that, because I certainly wouldn't think that that building is blighted. I think it's in really good shape, and I think
Are we
it's...
going to give him the red light here pretty quick?
I don't even see the gold yet. So, anyways, I'm concerned about that property as being a future obligation. Just seeing who's got their hands in it. All right. Now I'll play nice. I'd like to encourage everyone here out in TV land and in the audience to participate in the National Day of Unplugging, March 7th through 8th, which is pretty much Friday. The National Day of Unplugging is one of these newfangled holidays that's not on your calendar, but people create them, and I love this idea. Turn off all your electric gizmos. Turn off the tablet. Turn off your cell phone. Turn it off, get back to the 1970s time when you weren't staring at something when you walked down the street and ignoring all of society. I'm encouraging everybody in the city to turn off their electric gizmos March 7th through the 8th. And then the next day on the 8th, cruise over to the Garden Grove Neighborhood Association at Verla's house. We'd love to just continue this conversation with you. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
Thank you. I hope they don't unplug the hospitals. All right, let's go. We are going to recess the city council, and we're going to go to the successor agency and then to the sanitary district.
Thank you. I almost called you Madam Clerk. John, would you like to call roll?
Yes. Member Broadwater?
Here.
Member Wynn?
Here.
Member Fawn?
Here.
Vice Chair Beard?
Here.
And Chair Jones.
Here. We already did oral communications simultaneous with City Council. We'll go on to consent items.
Mr. Chair, we did list the new ROPS, the obligation schedule for the successor agency beginning July 1 on the consent calendar. We also listed some minor modifications to the property management plan on the consent calendar. However, if there are questions or concerns, we can certainly offer them up. If not, then we recommended that you approve these items in a single motion.
I do have a point to ask about 2C that was brought up from John.
Pull it?
One of our speakers. Yes, please.
Okay.
Make
Pull 2C. Does anybody want to pull anything else?
No.
I'll move the balance.
Second.
Call the vote.
Motion received 5 yes votes.
Okay. Item 2C.
Yeah, 2C, I just want to make sure that we're clear on as far as how we vet the issues of people not having the insurance issue that John brought up. Is that a concern, do you think, Matt, or should we look into it any deeper?
Well, I think as far as the insurance, we do require, under our risk management.
Well, let's take a look at his certificate of insurance with a magnifying glass and see what it really says. I mean, John's made an allegation against him, and I'd like to see, either the guy make him clean or resolve the problem.
Matt, if I may on this one, Section 4.2 of the agreement requires that if workers' compensation is required, which if he has any employees, workers' compensation insurance would be required. This provision of the contract requires that to be in place, and staff will verify that going forward and make sure that the insurance would be in place. With regard to the issue of electrical contracting, this contract is for on-call property maintenance services that may involve absolutely no electrical issues, and I'm sure that if an electrical issue comes up, that staff would require that the contractor have an electrical contractor's license before, that they would be able to work on anything related to that.
Okay, let's talk about on-call maintenance. I mean, is this guy really in business for himself, or is he just call somebody like you and I would call somebody if we had a sewer problem, or would call a plumber? I mean, is this guy actually in business for himself, or is it just is he going to flip all these jobs?
He apparently, and I don't know this personally, but looking at the agreement, it appears to be an individual who's doing business as Superior Construction. So I would not at all be surprised if this was simply one individual. That's what it looks like to me from the contract.
He's got a contractor's license?
I'm sure that he does have a contractor's
I wouldn't be too sure if you didn't check it out.
Yeah, well, I would. Staff will certainly verify that, and it would be required for him to do any.
I would like to make sure that he has a current bond also. Every contractor has to put a bond with the State Contractors Board.
Yes.
That should be in place.
If I may say, there is a contractor's license number indicated in the back of the contract on page 6. So unless we're charging that that contract license is expired, but
Why don't we just go on the internet? It's all there under Contractor State License Board. Punch in his license and see who really owns it. John, let it go. We'll take care of it.
So what's the motion? Or what
I would like to make a motion to at least table this for right now to get more clarity on the issue that John had brought up before we make a motion to approve it.
Can we bring it back in 2 weeks? Or is there a reason not to?
No, we can bring it back in 2 weeks.
Let's do it.
But I think we clarified, at this point, he does not have electrical license certification, nor was he requested to have that. So the answer to that is no, but he wasn't requested to have it. When the bids went out, they went out to general contractors with the staff report says licensing. So again, we would conclude that the four bidders had their general contractor's license. So no, he does not have electrical license, but he wasn't asked to have that. Or license.
And none of the work that we're asking him to do will actually require him to have
I can't say for certain. We own many rental, and from time to time, there may need to be some minor repairs. Well, this is who we would call to make minor repairs to the rental properties that we have. So it's not expected to be any significant construction. It's really a handyman that would go out and fix a door, fix a window, fix a gate.
Just out of curiosity, is this at union wages or prevailing wage or any of that kind of stuff, or no? Or does it need to be?
There's a prevailing wage provision in here, I believe. If you look at Section 16 of each of the agreements, it requires prevailing wages to be paid.
So there's only a few hours of work anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he may be called out for an hour's worth of work at any time. It's pretty minimal task that we're asking them to be on call for.
Matt, you mean more like handyman work?
More of a handyman.
And then if anything is beyond that, he probably wouldn't do it for that price.
Right. Yeah, he couldn't do it for
He
this
probably
price.
would notify the city that
Yeah, I mean-
it's beyond his scope.
Yeah, so if there's anything significant, it's certainly going to exceed this contract amount. So it's really for minor repairs
Right.
on call.
Bring it back in 2 weeks, please.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Motion by Vance, second by Dina. Call the vote.
Member Beard? Motion received 5 yes votes.
Okay, we have no public hearings. We have no items for consideration. Any matters from agency members?
I guess just for me on that point, Matt, just for clarity, just as far as to clear up, does he have the worker comp covered? That's what would be my, my specific question.
Well, it would be required if he has employees. If he's a sole proprietor, then it would not.
Okay. And we're sure that he's a sole proprietor?
We wouldn't, once we execute the contract, he'd have to provide evidence either that he is a sole proprietor or if he has employees.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're not leaving, some worker in the lurch or something.
We wouldn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah. But we'll bring it back in 2 weeks.
Okay. And I just want to make one comment to address something Josh McIntosh said, although he's left already, was
That's why I make him last. I make him stick it out, just-
with regard to redevelopment agency activities. I mean, the music stopped a few years ago, June 30th, 2011, or whatever. I forget exactly when it was. But so the only enforceable obligations are deals that were previously approved, had development agreements prior to that date. Some of those have enforceable obligations and payments, like payments of loans or whatever that extend out for many years to come. So those enforceable obligations are still intact as we move forward, and that was, I think, the verbiage.
Yeah,
we
that was
got
the
hung
term
up on, but-
future was obligations that extend for many years.
And
into the
that
future.
verbiage is in there for the city's protection, so it's that any revenue generated from these projects from the past can still be used to pay the obligations, and we don't just have to ship that money up north to Sacramento for no good reason and be stuck paying the bill without the benefit. So that's the point of that verbiage. With that, we will adjourn back to council.
Okay, at this time, I go to the sanitary district business.
Hold on 1 second. You want to?
No, that was at Sand District, not the council.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
John, please call roll.
Member Broadwater?
Here.
Member Jones?
Here.
Member Wynn?
Here.
Vice President Beard?
Here.
And President Fawn.
Here. The only action item we have is the consent item for the approval of the minutes from August the 13th.
Actually, Mr. President, that was posted in air. They're actually, the minutes aren't available, so you don't actually have a consent item. So you can ask for matters or something, but there's no other items.
Do we have any matters to review? All right. Okay, thank you. We'll adjourn and come back here on March 25th.
Okay, at this time, let's go to consent items.
Mr. Mayor, it's recommended items 2A through 2D be acted on simultaneously. 2A through 4A through 4G be acted on simultaneously unless a separate discussion is requested by a council member. I do need to point out that 4F is an agreement with the county. And
I'd like to pull that for that reason.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to pull 4F?
Pull, yeah.
Entertain a motion on the balance.
Move the balance.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Motion received 5 yes votes.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to declare on item 4F. I work for the County of Orange and the Orange County Community Resources Agency, which is not affiliated with the Social Services Agency, which agreement is with. So even though I work for the county, I have no, I don't work for that particular agency, so I've been advised I can't vote on the matter. There's no conflict.
Okay, somebody make a motion on 4F?
Actually, one more. I'm actually also with the county. I'm with the DA's office, but I have the office has no direct interaction with this particular item.
Anybody else work for the county? Okay, hearing none, would somebody please make a motion on 4F?
Move to approve?
We have a motion to approve. We have a second call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Let's go to 5, public hearings.
Mr. Mayor, 5A is a public hearing to consider an amendment to Title IX of our municipal code establishing regulations pertaining to cottage food operations. And Allison Mills is here to give a staff report on this.
Good evening, Council. The item before you is a recommendation of the Planning Commission to amend Title IX of the City of Garden Grove's Municipal Code to establish standards, restrictions, and requirements pertaining to the permitting and operation of cottage food operations, and to adopt the resolution establishing a cottage food permit application fee. The California Homemade Food Act became effective January 1st, 2013. This law allows individuals to prepare and/or package certain non-potentially hazardous foods in private home kitchens referred to as cottage food operations, or CFOs, for direct or indirect sales to customers. All cottage food operators are subject to specified requirements and limitations set out in the California Health and Safety Code, which includes safe food handling procedures. State law requires all cottage food operations to be registered or permitted by their local environmental health agency before commencing business. The County of Orange Healthcare Agency is the local enforcement agency responsible for registering or permitting and inspecting CFOs and ensuring that the CFOs comply with all health and safety code requirements. State law establishes a 2-tier cottage food operator registration and permitting system. Class A, which are those operations that sell prepared foods directly to the public, and Class B, which are those operations that sell prepared foods either indirectly through third-party realtors or both directly and indirectly to the public. State law prohibits cities from entirely prohibiting cottage food operations in residential dwellings. However, cities may establish reasonable standards, restrictions, and requirements concerning spacing and concentration, traffic control, parking, and noise control, and may require a CFO to obtain a permit, which must be granted if the CFO complies with applicable standards, restrictions, and requirements. Staff is proposing that the city adopt regulations consistent with the new state law designed to allow Garden Grove residents to operate CFOs out of their homes in accordance with the California Homemade Food Act while minimizing negative impacts on neighbors and protecting public health and safety. The proposed regulations would be implemented through amendments to Title IX. The proposed regulations include all CFO operators in the city would be required to apply for and obtain a cottage food operation permit from the city, which would be considered and approved by the zoning administrator. In order to mitigate potential adverse impacts on neighboring residences, CFOs involving direct sales transactions would not be permitted to be conducted within a dwelling unit located within 500 feet of another licensed CFO that sells directly to the public from that location. The cottage food operator would be required to obtain and maintain a valid city business operation tax certificate and county permit for the CFO and to comply with all applicable requirements of the Health and Safety Code and other laws. And direct sales of the cottage food products to customers from a dwelling unit and commercial deliveries would be limited to between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., and on-site consumption of cottage food products by customers would be prohibited. The proposed amendment will amend Title IX of the Garden Grove Municipal Code to establish standards, restrictions, and requirements pertaining to the permitting and operation of CFOs in the city, consistent with the California Homemade Food Act. Therefore, you are asked to introduce the attached ordinance for the first reading, approving Amendment Number A-173-14, as recommended by the Planning Commission, that reads as followed. Amending Title IX of the Municipal Code to establish regulations pertaining to cottage food operations and a resolution establishing a permit application fee, and to adopt the proposed resolution to adopt a cottage food operation permit application fee. For the record, the title of the ordinance is An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Grove establishing standards, restrictions, and requirements pertaining to the permitting and operation of cottage food operations. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available to answer any questions that you may have.
I just have a brief question. As far as, do we have anything on the books right now as far as permits requirements, or is this the first time?
We don't allow home-based businesses other than receiving of mail, kind of an office operation.
So do we anticipate a large turnout, do you think, from this, this ordinance?
Well, we know through the county that there are already 6 in Garden Grove.
And I may have missed it in the actual reading of it, but is there a penalty for if someone was to conduct this business and doesn't acquire a permit?
Well, the penalties would be consistent with any other violation of the municipal code.
Do we have a range of how much that cost would be approximately?
That would be up to $1,000.
Okay. Because I know that perhaps, you know, in this community more so, and speaking on perhaps as a Vietnamese American, I have known some businesses that does do that, and I was hoping that if we go down this path, we also make it very well known that they could be subjected to this type of fine, because there are a lot of these moms and pops, and without the proper knowledge that we're putting this into place, they could be fined without the fair notice and warning. So I just want to bring that up.
Yeah, we could do some sort of an education program to get the word out.
We actually had a lady making tofu in her garage for sale, and we had to put a stop to that. Okay, at this time, any further questions for staff? Hearing none, at this time, we'll open up the public hearing. Is there anybody who'd like to speak on this issue?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, my name is Charles Mitchell, and I'm wondering what the impact might have on various fundraising events where members of organizations provide various food items for a bake sale and things like that. Is this going to have any direct impact on them?
I don't think so. This would be for profit. You know, there'd be somebody that's manufacturing, let's say somebody's manufacturing tamales in their kitchen for profit. They sell them to different stores that resell them. This is not something that would involve voluntary cake sales. Anybody else like to speak on this issue? Hearing none, at this time we'll close the public hearing. Entertain a motion.
Move approval.
We have a motion to approve.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
I just thought about the county when these vendors don't follow the rules. Don't the county have also a penalty for them?
Are you talking about like pushcart vendors or
Like the healthcare agency, and then
they? Depending on the type of food establishment, the county does have health inspectors that go out, make periodic inspections, respond to complaints, and the county actually has the ability to shut down food establishments if they feel that the food is not safe or prepared safely or stored safely.
I thought about the city attorney mentioning that the fine would be $1,000. I think it's kind of high and it's kind of harsh. I think that should be some, if it's a permit, then we should have a gradual fine building up to that, maybe the third time. And because I think the county is already monitoring the health and safety aspect of it. I don't think the city is doing that, are we?
No, that is correct.
We're just monitoring the licensing of it, correct?
That is correct.
Then I like to make a motion to maybe have a gradual fine up to $1,000.
If I can just make a comment on that.
Okay.
Failure to comply with this ordinance would be addressed through code enforcement, similar to the way any other complaint of a violation of the municipal code would be addressed. And of course, our first step is to try to educate and generate voluntary compliance. Short of that, we have a process that we go through that involves, first of all, notification and education. If there's still no compliance, then we have a reinspection fee that starts at, I believe it's $40 or $50. And then if more re-inspections are necessary, that fee can go up to $100. If all that fails, then we can start with the administrative citation portion of it, and that has a sliding fee scale. I believe, Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, starts at $100 and can go up to $1,000.
Okay. That's all I wanted. I thought it was a flat 1,000 if they were caught with no license. Okay, thank you.
What worries me about it is poisoning somebody or something. I mean, there's nothing that says they have to have liability insurance or anything like that?
No, anything related to food safety is addressed by the healthcare agency. Their health inspectors would go out and address that.
Okay. We have a motion. We do not have a second.
Second.
Do we, on this item, by the way, we have an amendment to an existing ordinance and also a resolution, right? Is there any other verbiage we need to read into it? Or is it?
It's done.
The way I understood the motion to be made was it encompassed the introduction and first reading of the ordinance and adoption of the proposed resolution establishing the permit application fee. That was the staff recommendation. So if that was not, if I'm incorrect, now's the time to make a clarification of that.
That's my motion.
Second.
We have a motion. We have 2 seconds. Call for the vote.
Third.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Let's go for items for consideration.
Mr. Mayor, item 7A is an award of contract to KOA Corporation for on-call professional engineering services. Bill Murray is here to give a staff report on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Fratello. Mr. Mayor and members of the council, tonight the City Council is being asked to award a contract to provide engineering services for the city's capital improvement program. This service will assist city staff in meeting deadlines for street improvement construction projects that use primarily Measure M and gas tax. Typical projects are median reconstruction and pavement reconstruction. Staff received proposals from 3 qualified firms and rated the firms with respect to their experience and specific services offered. Staff negotiated a contract fee with the highest rated firm. KOA was determined to be the most qualified and offered the highest service as rated by city staff for a not-to-exceed cost of $400,000. Staff is recommending that a professional services contract to KOA be awarded tonight and to authorize the city manager to execute the agreement on behalf of the city. This concludes staff's report.
Any questions for staff? Hearing none, I entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. We have second. Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Let's go to 7B, please.
Mr. Mayor, 7B is the companion item that was presented under the Housing Authority for the agreement for grant funding rental-based assistance program. So just recommend that you approve this as a city council as well.
Any questions for staff? Hearing none.
So moved.
Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Let's go to 7C.
Mr. Mayor, 7C is the approval of a purchase and sale agreement with United El Segundo for the purchase of the gas station property at Harbor and Trask Avenue. And Greg Blodgett is here to give a staff report on the item.
Thank you, Mr. Fertel. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, tonight we have for your approval a purchase and sale agreement with United El Segundo, Inc. for sale of real property at 13501 Harbor Boulevard. Property was acquired in 2005 for street improvements, and subsequently the property was leased to Galaxy Oil, who currently operates a Chevron gas station on the property. And we're selling the property pursuant to this lease. Property was marketed for 1 year on LoopNet and also by Newmark Grubb Frank on behalf, the broker on behalf of the city. And the following are salient deal points for this contract. This is an all-cash purchase price of $1.435 million, and the broker is Newmark Grubb Knight Frank, will be paid a 3% commission. The buyer is purchasing the property subject to existing lease with Galaxy Oil, and they're buying it as is, where is, no warranties. Escrow fees are going to be split evenly between the buyer and the city. So at this time, staff recommends the City Council approve the attached purchase and sale agreement, authorize city manager to execute the purchase and sale agreement, grant deed, assignment and assumption of the lease, and any other required related documents on behalf of the city, and to make minor modifications as needed. And authorize city manager to enter into a sales contract, a commission agreement with Newmark Grubb Knight Frank. This concludes my report.
This money goes to the city?
Yes.
Any questions for staff? Entertain a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second. Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Correct. We have no ordinances presented for second reading, so let's go to matters from the mayor and city council members. Mr. Baird.
Yeah, since the last council meeting, I had the pleasure and fun of going to the Hastor Park opening, as the other council members did. So it was really a great opening, and it's a great park. It's a great addition to the city. I have to commend the county for their work in putting it all together, and our participation, our support of that endeavor. So it's a great new facility complex, and so I encourage residents to go out there and go see the Hastor Park Basin Park? Hastor Basin Park. Thank you. Formerly Twin Lakes, which now it's a monolake park. So with that, and recent events too. This last Saturday, had the good fortune of going to West Garden Grove Youth Baseball opening day, and boy, that was fun. It was great, great weather, which tells me God's a baseball fan, and it's so enjoyable seeing all the young ball players starting out, and I think 2 of the cutest ones were Councilmember Steve Jones's young sons, who are part of the youth baseball, and they were cuter than kittens. They were just, and it's going to be a great year. I wish all the teams out there, since baseball's starting up, good luck, good sportsmanship, have fun, and that was an enjoyable event. I just want to comment on a couple of things. Donation bins, that's moving forward with the ordinance. I wish Mrs. Whitcomb had been aware that we are working on that. So that is important. My final comment has to relate to the work on Valley View. It's a hardship. I have to commend and comment and hand it to the residents. I'm not that it is an endeavor. We've had lamps that we've had worked on. We've had freeway work. So I'm sorry we have to bear with it, but it's a necessary thing we do. I know the police, traffic, we're doing everything we can, and we are making notes, I would think, to work on future projects. This is a major project. It's not going to happen all the time. We're having one on Euclid, so these will happen, but it's been a learning experience, and I know we're doing our best, but the communication, I want to thank the Public Works Director for coming out to a community meeting. I think we should have more of those to explain what's going on. Communication is always the key, and it's a hardship, and I do want to commend those people for getting through it, and we will be through it in 3 months. So thank you for your patience, understanding, and thank you for the city that all we can do to help get through this difficult time on Valley View. Excuse me, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Dina?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I agree with Patty Whitcomb. Those boxes are unsightly, and they do leave a lot of debris aside clothings and shoes. They do leave debris around the boxes. So I'm glad that we're working on an ordinance for that, and maybe staff can also look into the legitimacy of those organizations. I also agree with her comment regarding e-cigarettes. I do wonder about that. Is that legal in the premises? Because it's not emitting the smoke like the regular cigarettes. So maybe our city attorney can look into that and let us know what's the effect of e-cigarettes on the current law on smoking in the building and other areas that are prohibited. Yes, I'm sorry to the west side of Garden Grove that we have so much traffic going on right now, and staff can you see into it. There were a couple of comments today that they said maybe they can get more traffic supervision, maybe can increase that so it can help the traffic flow better. Also, I want to give a hand to the ladies that are here for the cancer survivor. They're here every year, and they put on a good event every year in July. And I hope everyone will come out and support them this year. Also, Zeke Hernandez has left already with Pete, and I want to commend them. They're always rooting for our veterans, and they're working on a very big project. I hope that they get the support that they will get, and if they need anything, I'll be there to support them. I haven't talked about buying big, B-I-G-G, buy in Garden Grove for a long time, but just quickly, I wanted to bring some business attention to the people who are living on a budget. We have dollar menus at McDonald's and at Dewey's Thistles. I think those are great for days when you have just $1. And also the 99-cent store. And in the Little Saigon area, we have a couple of restaurants that are on 50% off for the famous pho soup, chicken noodle soup, or beef noodle soup. And it's very inexpensive. One is located on Westminster, across from the Bank of America. Pho V. That's right, Steve. See, you've been there. And the other one is on Hazard and Brookhurst, off of Brookhurst. It's called Pho Vinky, and they are open until 3 a.m. in the morning for those who work at night. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris.
Thanks, sir. I was just down in San Diego the last few days for military drills, and they're just blasting on the radio about the council meeting down there about the e-cigarettes. I'm like, wow, what's the big issue? And apparently now we're going to be dealing with that. And I thought to myself, how will I deal with that? So if you can just get me smarter on exactly what is it and what kind of effects does it have on the smokers before we make an informed decision on that one. Also, just notice to the community that on this Saturday at 8 o'clock over at Miles Square Park, the Thomas House is having a walk run over there. The Thomas House is basically a shelter for abused domestic violence women and children in Garden Grove here. So it's a very great nonprofit that we can support. So barring the rain out on Saturday, please come out and support. Again, it's at 8 o'clock over at Miles Square Park. And along with that, with the rain coming, please be very careful in your driving and getting around town. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephen.
Thank you. I'll redundantly touch on a couple things that were already talked about, but just to add my 2 cents worth. So the bins, that's something that we're already, the collection bins in around the city, but just the sub-point is there was an assertion made that some of these bins represent that they're supporting the DARE program or certain things like that. So in looking into these things, we should check into the legitimacy of the claims that they make and their affiliations and whatnot. Also mentioned that Hastur Basin Park, if you haven't been there, go check it out. Southwest corner of Hastur and Lamson. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's amazing. It has a decompressed granite walking or bicycling trail that's about a half mile long around the whole outside edge. Brand new soccer fields, landscaping. It's absolutely beautiful, and there's nothing more gratifying as a local elected than to see the creation of new parks. So that's really exciting. Huge kudos to our supervisor, Janet Wynn, and the county and everybody who was involved in making that happen, and the city as well. So, and then just one other thing was this last weekend was the Cypress College hosts their annual Americana Awards, and the mayor and I were there in attendance. It was a wonderful event, and they honored Bill and Sue Caitlin from our city as recipients this year of the Americana Award for Garden Grove. That's it.
Thank you. I also went to the baseball parade and grand opening in West Garden Grove. I took my grandson with me, and he literally refused to have his picture taken with Miss Garden Grove. So I tried a better one. I said, well, how about Miss California? And he refused her, too. I'm going to really have to work on that kid. E-cigarettes. Check out what other cities are doing also. I mean, it just doesn't sound good to me. I mean, it just computerized cigarettes, and it's believable. And the cancer survivors. I was over there last year. It's not nice to not mention the mayor's name when you're saluting everybody that was there, Anyway, we'll be there again, so it was a fun thing last year, and even though they didn't realize I was there, I guess I can get along with that, so.
You didn't get wet.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, I wasn't about to get dunked. I mean, I only, I got 75-year-old kidneys. I don't mess around with that. Okay, well, I definitely want to close in Walter Eller's name, and he was a Congressional Medal of Honor winner, and he was in the service and went to Normandy. That must have been something to see. We will close in his name tonight. Thank you very much.